What's up, guys, and welcome back to Brewing to Cinema. Tonight, we are starting our dive into spooky season with our first film, 2019's Us. So, I've never seen this film until the other night. As we know, this is Jordan Peele. I believe it's his second film of three that he's done. So, this will be I don't think I've done Get Out yet. I might put that on my list for this month later on. 2019, it's 2 hours. And honestly, guys, right off the rip, I'm not a big horror movie guy, but honestly, like I love these psychological thrillers, and I was really captivated by this one. And you have to ignore the background. I'm not at home right now. I'm dog sitting for my dad. So if you hear dogs in the background and chewing and stuff, that's just what that is. Just disregard. So all right, so diving back into it. So 2019's Us. This movie is starring Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o. If I butcher her last name, I apologize. I always have a hard time saying her last name. But these two are phenomenal actors. I believe they're both in Black Panther together as well. Um, this movie was just like freaky from the jump. I mean, you start off with this like Elena's character as a young girl, and she's like sees this other little girl looks just like her in this maze as she walks away from her dad who's not paying attention to her. And then fast forward, they go back to this lake, and basically, like, it's just, it's so weird from the jump. And they have, and of course, the dad buys a boat with, to impress the kids because they're at the lake house and talks. Elena's going into the beach and she has a bad feeling about being there. And then she finally tells her husband about the story of when she was a little girl. And right from there, I liked that they didn't waste a lot of time getting into like the weird, creepy stuff in this film, which I really, really like that Jordan Peele did with this one. I mean, I think it's like 30 minutes in, if that, where like the little girl goes, "Hey, there's a family in the driveway," and then the dad goes out there and it's just like the silhouettes of like the untethered, as we get to know them. And it's creepy because you got there a couple times, then they do like the little clap and the kids go crawling around like up trees and stuff like real quick, and then they break into the house, and basically, and then all of a sudden, like they're being almost the whole family's being held hostage by the untethered versions of themselves, and they see that like it's their doppelgangers. And like Lupita's voice as this character, as Red, I think is what they refer to her as, that deep, raspy voice that she does is so freaking creepy. It was so good. It was so creepy. And the red jumpsuits and the shears that they're all carrying to kill the people they're tethered to. Um, it's a wild get in, and of course, the dad gets drug outside to the boat. The kid has to go play with the other kid. We find out he's like burned on the face. Then the other daughter's like really creepy looking too. Just they're all just like crazy looking versions, and none of them can talk besides Red. And then basically we get a story about how they were basically left for dead. It was like almost like a government experiment, and they have no souls, and they are tethered to their own living versions above ground. There's all these underground tunnels, and they were basically on their own to eat like rabbits and stuff, and that they had like lived these horrible lives. Everything good that happened in their own tethered person's lives was a really horrible, terrible version for themselves. And then it's just the movies get so more and more creepy as you go along. And of course, you have like all the escape attempts and everything. And then it gets eventually we go over to like Lupita and Winston Duke's friend's house that they met up with. And we see like they have their own, like they're really super rich and they have their own like nice fancy house with these like a-hole like twin daughters that they have. And eventually, like Winston Duke, they all have to end up fighting their own version of themselves in this film, which I think is really cool. And they're being chased down the entire time. and they have to kill their own individual tethered versions of themselves one by one in these really horrific ways. And eventually, like, they all make it to the boat after escaping. They get to the other people's house, and then these people get brutally killed, absolutely brutally killed by the doppelgangers, by the untethered. I honestly like that they didn't waste any time. The other ones were almost like they said they've been waiting for this day. They've been planning this day for years and years and years, and they've been waiting for this. And then the other people, the other family, their versions didn't waste any time at all. And then, of course, unbeknownst to them, they go to that house. Those people are there. They get attacked by the untethered of the other people. So we find out that there's more than just one group of these people, which is also really terrifying to think about. So they end up having to fight them off, kill them, and then, and they have to escape in the car. And then and it's just like, then you get to, like, again, I'm just skipping. I'm just really just kind of blowing through this. I mean, there's just so much happens in this film. It's just really good. And I don't want to bore you guys with a super long review of this film. And then, of course, we have like the really cool scene towards the end where they're like, it's daylight now. And we find out, actually, on the news, I'll go back. We find out on the news that this is a worldwide phenomenon that's taking place. That people holding hands across America. It's the opening scene in the film. The little girl talks about it. Well, the little girl watches a video of it in the opening scene, and so she wants to recreate hands across America. And so all these people's untethered versions are killing the other people in just super violent ways. And they find out on the news, they're like, "Oh, this is happening all across the world." So it's like a worldwide, like, planned out event, which is also pretty radical. They all come up ground and just start killing everyone. And it's really wild thing about the organization, everything it took. Then we have the really creepy scene towards the end where the little boy version, he's like the last one standing. He's getting like his rhythm down. And then then the little boy somehow is able to control him after he lights the family's actual car on fire. He walks into the fire, and then, of course, the little boy gets stolen from Alina. And of course, Alina has to go and chase down Red. So you go down to the tunnels that are abandoned at this point, and there's no one down there besides the two of them. They have this whole fight scene, and then, like, you get like this like weird like scream and like noise when she like kills the version of her doppelganger version of Red. With, I guess she's the last one. And then, of course, the family ends up driving off. And then we finally get our twist at the end. You kind of see it coming, but I really did like this twist. We see that the doppelganger version of Alina is Red, and that they switched places as a child. In the opening scene, you see that Alina chokes Red and switches places with her. And so I believe that's why she has the throat problem. That's why she's only able to talk in the film. And you see like the mom look at the little boy, and he clocks that's like the something's up, and that's not really his mom. And so they give you that little flashback, and you get like that nice little twist reveal at the end that Jordan Peele always has in his films. So again, I knew I blew through a lot of stuff. I don't want to bore you guys too much. So this film, super, super, super enjoyed it. Definitely watching again. Again, Lupita's the voice thing, just so freaking creepy. And carrying around the shears, super freaking creepy. And the matching red outfits, again, just the creep factors are off the chain in this movie. Really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's one of my new favorite psychological thriller, horror, whatever genre you want to put it in. I'm looking forward to Jordan Peele's next project. I'm assuming we'll have one come out in the next year or so. So I'm going to continue to bust out as many horror, suspense, spooky type movies as I can throughout this month. So be sure to stay tuned here. The next one I will be covering is The Black Phone. And if you guys have any suggestions of movies you want me to cover or movies you think I should watch, please like and comment down below and leave me some suggestions. I would love some new suggestions because, again, it's a new genre that I'm diving into. This is not something I normally watch. So please leave suggestions below. Please like and subscribe down below as well. And thank you so much for watching. Peace.